Welcome back to another Revopoint case study video. So today I'm going to discuss with you how to scan and especially completely scan a complicated object like this muffler or this skateboard. Why this is complicated? So first of all, you can see there has some rich detail surface like here and there, also like the wheel and track, but also it has a lot of richless surface, like a very flat surface like here and here. So that's what we're gonna do today. And you have already seen Travis scan this muffler. So today let's deal with this skateboard. Okay, first thing first, what scanner we should pick for this project? Well, it might look like this skateboard is an optimal size for the Range 2 and also MIRACO's far mode, right? Because Range 2, has a big field of view. But we are not gonna use Range 2 for this skateboard scan. And that is because Range 2 has a wide field of view. So it can capture the surface, the frame of it, no problem. But look, this skateboard has some awkward angles like here, here, and here. So Range 2 has a big field of view, so we might be difficult to get close to it, to get all these of the awkward angles. Let's see. And you will know why in a minute. Okay, let's go. And look, I already have some problem in scanning, especially these angles, look, the wheels and this part. I'm already too close to it. So if I want to get more close, what's gonna happen is I might just lose track because the scanner is not at the optimal distance. It cannot capture anything. So that's why we're not using Range 2 for this project like that, okay? And how about Mini 2? Maybe not a great idea. That's because it's way too big for a Mini 2, and specifically we're using marker mode for today's project. So I need to need to stick a lot of marker dots on the surface to make it happen. It's not saying that you cannot, but it will be very difficult and tricky to use Mini 2. Okay, so not Range 2, not Mini 2. Pop 3 is possible. It might be a little bit too big, but Pop 3 is way more flexible than Mini 2. We can hold it and move a lot with the Pop 3. And also MIRACO. Why? MIRACO has two modes, if you remember, far mode and near mode. So we can use far mode first to scan the frame of this skateboard, and we can switch to the near mode to scan these awkward areas, the wheels and the track like that. So Pop 3 and MIRACO is what we can choose to scan something like that for today's project. Okay, number 2, what tracking mode we should choose for this skateboard? Well, maybe feature tracking because it has some feature-rich areas like the wheels and track here, but maybe not for Pop 3. That is because Pop 3's field of view is smaller than the Range 2 and MIRACO. MIRACO and Range 2, it might can just scan this in one go, but for Pop 3, look, if we choose, now we're on feature tracking, and this might be happening. Yeah, it just goes out of control because this is a really flat, featureless area on the top. And also remember I said complicated object. This narrow side is also going to be a problem if we use feature tracking. When we're switching from the top to the side, there's really nothing much for us to keep on tracking. So that's number 2. So that's why we're going to use marker mode for today's project. Okay, step 3. Well, I have already sprayed this, so you cannot see the original texture of the wheel and the track. So the wheel is very transparent. It's like some rubber or acrylic texture. So I need to spray it. And also the track area, this is a very shiny metal part. So in order to scan something, remember, too dark, too reflective or transparent areas, you need to spray it first. And here are Revopoint scan spray AB6. It's white and it evaporates itself within 2 and 6 hours. And ABP is permanent. Well, maybe not 100% permanent because you still can wash or wipe it away. So you can choose both for your project when you're scanning. But in today's case, because I need to introduce and talk about it a lot, so I don't want it to sublimate before I can start scanning. So in this case, I'm going to choose Revopoint ABP for my scan spray. Okay, step 4, now we need to put some marker dots on our skateboard. So as you can see, I have both this big marker dots and the smaller one. The big one 6 millimeters and the smaller one 3 millimeters. The big ones, I put it on the big areas like here and there. And I put the smaller ones on some really narrow, like the side, and also on some awkward areas like these tracks and wheels. And note that this small marker dots comes only with Mini 2, but you can always get it on our website, okay? And you can, for sure, you can mix both marker dots together when you are scanning. So that's gonna be handy. And here I would like to point out is how many marker dots you want to put on your object. And my answer is more than enough. That's because I want to make it safe, especially when I'm like tilting for some awkward areas. I always have some marker dots to keep track on. So it's always good to put more marker dots than needed. And here is something I would like to demonstrate is I have tightened the screws here. Look, now the skateboard cannot roll very flexibly. Look, it's pretty tightened up. And why I'm doing that is because when you're scanning, and especially when you have complete an area and you want to continue and keep on track scanning, it's better not to move the position of the marker dots. Say we have scanned this area and I accidentally let the wheels to roll. So some of the marker dots, like these areas, the position is remaining still compared to the previous scan. But well, on the wheels, these marker dots position has changed. So that's going to create a problem. So you always want to avoid the marker dots position being moved, especially moving the parts. You can move like this, no problem, because the marker dots it's not changing the position on the object. But it's better not to let this kind of situation happen, and that's going to maybe cause you to lose track, or the alignment going to have some problem. Okay, now let's get started. So normally we connect our scanners to the PC via cable, right? Well, you still can do that, no problem. But here I would like to introduce you a better way to control and better way to moving. That is, we can choose to get rid of the cable. And look here, don't need the tripod. We can use the phone holder and the power bank handle. And we can power it up with this 2-in-1 cable. Well, no need to here. Look, no need to connect this side to anything. Or you can of course choose not having this phone holder because we're not connecting to a phone. We're doing it, connecting it to the computer. We can also take a look. This is also detachable. You can even have this connected to the power bank handle, and then look, all flexible based on what you need, okay? That's pretty handy. Okay, so now we will have a way to wirelessly connect our scanner, our POP3, to the PC. Okay, it's connected. So now I can move my scanner to whatever position at whatever angle I want, right? And here is something I would like to tell you is, this is something I would like to do. I don't even need this computer, so I can project my computer screen to a big TV like that. So in this way, I will have a much better way to monitor what I'm doing right now with a big TV and a wireless scanner. So this, well, I call it my favorite. I don't know what you think. Okay, so let's scan it in this way. Okay, all set. So before we go scanning, you can use this base removal function to remove the table or any surface you're scanning on. Or you can do like me. You can put a big black plastic sheet of paper. Both way works, depends on what you want. And let's check the settings. High accuracy, good. Feature, no, not feature. Marker tracking, general object. And exposure, you can use both auto to let the scanner that the software set for you, or you can use manual exposure setting. And you can do it right away, right on the scanner instead of using it on the in the software, so that's pretty handy. And you can even change the exposure in mid-scan, so that's pretty cool. So make sure when you're doing that, use the scanner's button to change the exposure level instead of doing it on the software, which is not that convenient. Okay, so let me explain how I'm gonna scan this skateboard. All the marker dots already on it. So first I can scan the top area, and I will tilt my scanner, move to scan the side and the two wheels. And after this side is done, I can turn to this side. When it's all completed, I can turn it up 90 degrees and start scanning from the side to the bottom, and on the other side, and eventually I can turn it over up and fill up whatever areas I'm missing. So that's the plan. Let's go. Okay, so first the top area, exposure 6, looking good. Let's go. Okay, so sometimes when you're moving, if you're moving too fast, and the scanner will tell you it's losing track, and do not panic, like right now. Do not panic, just move back to what you have previously scanned, and the scanner will find its way back on tracking. Anyway, let's finish the top area. Okay, done. Tilt slowly when you're switching from the top to the side. Remember to do it slowly and steady, okay? And also scan the very side a little bit. And you want to do very slowly, especially on these areas without too many marker dots. Don't rush it. Okay, the wheel, and okay, almost there. And try to scan the side more. Okay, and also this wheel here. Top area. And look, if you don't have enough marker dot to keep track on, you can do like this, like me. You can move a little bit far away. Even though the distance meter is telling you are a bit far away, that's okay. Okay, this side almost finished. Now let's pause it and let's check. Pretty good. So now let's turn to the other side. And remember, when you're resuming your scanning, do not scan from the areas that you have not scanned anything yet. So this, well, in that way, the scanner won't be able to find its way back on tracking. So what you can do is simply like this. Pick an area you have already scanned, and the scanner, look, like now, the scanner finds its way back on tracking right away. Okay. Wheel and a little bit on the side. Okay. And this part of the wheel. Okay. Oops. Okay. And that's the last wheel. And also a little bit on the side. Let's just fill it in there. Okay, pause it. Okay, now we have a very good frame of the top and the side area. So now we can turn this 90 degrees. And now here is where we're gonna resume the scanning. It's better to be this area, the side of the wheel and also the side of the board. Well, maybe not right in the middle of the board, because not so many marker dots here. Maybe the scanner won't be that easy to find its way back. So here, yep, okay. Right on the target. So we can scan more of these areas. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, now this wheel right here. Okay, so now we can tilt more to try to scan the middle area. And do not worry about the other side of the wheel. We'll turn it over once again so that we can capture all of the areas that we need. Okay, now is the tricky part. We might want to get really close, like the inside of it, to scan the track. Also on these areas. Also here. Okay. Okay, let's fill it in a little bit more here and there and get close to it. Or we can do it later when we completely put it on this bottom. Problem too. Okay, and this wheel. Almost there. Okay, maybe tilt it a little bit here, so I see a little blanks. And the wheel here. Okay, let's pause it. So as you can see, now almost complete. But I see a little bit holes in the middle, but no worry, we can fix that later. Now let's turn it 180% on this side and let's resume scanning still this area. Oh no, actually, that's not towards you, it's towards myself. Okay. Okay, find it right away. Okay. No problem. And also the wheel here. Okay, almost complete. Now put it on the bottom. And let's check our point cloud. And as you can see, it's almost done. Just a little bit hole here and there. So let's resume our scanning from here and try to fill the holes on the area we have missed. And the small holes, maybe, no, we can just use the fill hole function to fix that in the processing stage. Okay. So in order to scan these area, we might want to get really close to it. But not too close. When the scanner say we're already too close, it's better not to keep moving on. Okay, so that done. And I also see a hole here. So let's try to fill that. Okay, and the wheel here might be not completed. Okay. So yeah, that's it. With almost no holes in the middle. Can you see any? Barely nothing. Okay. Okay, now the scan has completed. We have a very complete, very good point cloud. I can see a little bit holes here and there, but that's no matter. We can fix that very easily within the Revo scan. Okay, good enough. With some of the noise and yep, everywhere is very complete. No problem. That's a good scan. And so now our next step is I will use QUICKSURFACE and Blender to fix and reverse engineer my 3D model. But let's say, what if you don't have a perfect scan? Well, of course, in this video, I scanned this skateboard more than one time, more than just this time. So let me show you something I scanned, and here, look. And this project, this skateboard is not good at all. Look, all these areas, like one of the wheel and track, especially the track is good, but the other area is really bad. Look, it's all messed up. And also the board itself is not even aligned with each other. Well, of course, that's because I made a mistake when I'm scanning. I don't scan it very carefully. It's an early scan trial. So let's just use this very bad scan result to show you how I'm gonna reverse engineer and how to fix this model with QUICKSURFACE and Blender. And eventually we can then import the fixed 3D model to the slicer software to eventually print it out. So now QUICKSURFACE, it's a really professional 3D reverse engineering software designed by a professional team with more than 25 years in this industry. Well, good news is now Revopoint, we are officially working with QUICKSURFACE. So any of you who are interested in buying a brand new Revopoint scanner, you can choose a bundle with QUICKSURFACE software license together, and you can get a better price that we offer. Also, if you purchased a Revopoint scanner, now you can also choose to buy a QUICKSURFACE software license with a special offer that we provide. Okay, so now let's open up this really stupid 3D model. Well, not stupid, it's actually not right. It's one of the wheel and track is fine, the other side is really messed up. And also the surface, the board area is not even aligned with each other. I think I made some mistake, or I'm just scanning too fast. Okay, but no matter, we can still fix it with QUICKSURFACE and Blender. So first, let's open up QUICKSURFACE. And step one, we need to recenter the 3D model with all the coordinates selected as 0, 0, 0, so it will be nice and well centered in the very middle of this coordinate. Okay, position correct. So now step two is we can use the 2D sketch function to find the outer frame of this skateboard. Okay, then we have it. We can use this to start to rebuild a new figure. We can manually use this editing function to draw two straight lines and draw two half circles on the side. Okay, now we have it. And then we stretch this figure up and we can have the thickness of this skateboard. Okay, all done. So now we need to use this fit surface function to use the rough scan data to have the original surface that is the same with our real skateboard as the scan data. First the top and the bottom. Okay, and we need to cut off the redundant areas. So then we have a brand new skateboard, only the board area. We don't need to worry about the wheels and track. We're gonna do that in Blender. Okay, so now let's open up Blender and we can import the rebuild skateboard, only the board area, and the original rough scan data together. Because we only need the wheel and track area, so we just now need to separate the wheels and track in Blender. Just cut it off nicely and easy. Okay, so now the wheel, we can put it to the rebuilded skateboard. And well, how about the other wheel and track? Because the other areas is really messed up in scanning, but we don't really need to rebuild that. We just simply, because the skateboard, the other side is the same, we just need to mirror this wheel and track area, and we put on the same position of the other side. Okay, last step, we can just compare the original scan data with this edited skateboard 3D model, no problem. So now we can just export it, and now we can slice it with the Cheeto box and be ready for 3D printing. Okay, now let's start slicing it. So first, the software I'm using is Cheeto Box Pro. And Cheeto Box is a 3D slicing software company that works with Revopoint. They are also our partner. And also they have two versions. One is called Cheeto Box Basic. Now the latest version is 2.1, and also Cheeto Box Pro. So Cheeto Box Basic is a free software. You can just download and use it. It provides all the basic solutions for 3D printing. But of course, Cheeto Box Pro has more advanced and more complicated operations and functions in there you can use. So let's open the scan skateboard in the 3D STL model. Right here, let's put it on the plate and let's scale it. Okay, after scale it, now let's rotate this model so we can have a better operation angle of it. Well, so first I want to make this skateboard smaller so I can dig a hole on there and put it on my necklace or hand it to my keys or whatever you like. So you don't have to really drill a hole on the skateboard after it's printed. You can actually use the dig hole function in Cheeto Box Pro. Just like that, click dig hole function, and we choose like, let's say 2 millimeters, the diameter. And okay, depth I'd say 3 millimeters is enough because now we have a much smaller skateboard. It should be thinner. Okay, and the front view will look like that. Okay, sounds good. Okay, so the hole is there. And now let's start to add the support. First, let's adjust the angle for the support addition. And here, if you click this tilted angle, there has a smaller cross-sectional area, improving the printing success rate. So at this angle, like this tilted angle, the model is shorter in height, so that they're also reducing the printing time. Okay, so let's add the support. The angle, we can also adjust it like manually. So first, let's generate the support. Let it automatically generate support for us. Well, it looks almost there, but I think we can have some, let me see. Yep, maybe on the wheel track, let's manually put 2 more supports because those are the overhanging support points the software detected. Also on the lowest part, because this part is the first part to be printed out, which means this part will support all of the weight, or at least most of the weight in the later part of the skateboard. So it's always smart to put more supports on these areas, the starting point, okay? So let's manually add some more supports here. Like 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's about it. And of course, you know, we could just print 1 on the plate, but of course we can do more than a time. So we will have multiple skateboard for us to use and maybe print and paint it in different colors. So we can just copy and paste. Control C and Control V, copy and paste, so we have more. And also we can make it in different sizes. Let's say, let's just slightly change their sizes a bit so that we have more options when it's printed out. Okay, so that's about it. Well, if you want to if you want to better distinguish these skateboards or any 3D model on your plate in the Cheeto box, you can click this Prepare Add Tag function. And you can then add special text to them as like names, you know. Like here, you can add just Revopoint to it. And of course, and also it will be printed out for sure. So let's just add 2 Revopoint here. And just click Start Slicing. I have completed all the parameters, so let's just use this default. And the 3D printer I'm using is Frozen Mighty 8K. As you can see, all of the parameters I have done for that. Okay, and let's save it. Okay, completed. So now I saved it to a USB disk. So now we can just put it in the 3D printer and print the skateboard out. Okay, now we're ready to print it out. So the printer I'm using is Frozen Mighty 8K. And also I have the resins. The brand is Sunlu resin. I have 14K and the Standard Plus. They're both gray, but they also sell the red wax resin, which is pretty good. So let's add some resin in it. Okay, seems now the printing is completed. Let's check it out. Looking good for skateboard. Okay, so now we need to clean the printed skateboard. Now there are two ways. My more preferred way is I don't take it off with the shovel, because sometimes I figure sometimes it's pretty hard to shave it off just like that. So a more proper way, I suppose, is I always like this. Look, I can just put it with the plate, so I can just wash it all, and it will soft the bottom, the layer on the plate, so I can make me much more easier to shove it off like that. And notice one thing is, normally, because this is not water washable, so you need the best detergent is 99% alcohol. But first, I don't do 3D printing a lot. I don't do the 3D printing in my lab for like all the time. So it's kind of a wasted, because alcohol will evaporate eventually. So I don't use 99% alcohol in my washing machine. Instead, I use this hand detergent. And I know this is not the best way, and maybe it's not gonna wash it properly, but I'm gonna use this in the machine, let it wash and resin for more than 30 minutes, and then I can use a little bit alcohol. And I don't even have the 99%. The one I got is 95%, but that'll do, okay? So let's first add some detergent in it. And as you can see, I also make the water level a bit more than recommended, because I'm putting the plate in it. And I think it makes sense, because this steel shelf does give me the space to put my plate on it just enough. So I think this might be the best proper way I figured out myself. Okay, so anyway, now let's close it. Okay. And let's turn on the machine. And this is also frozen wash machine, so it's pretty easy to use, like a microwave. Just turn it to 30 minutes, okay? And click, it'll automatically start washing. Almost there. Okay, looking good. So the hand detergent can do the job, just not perfect, but this will save you from wasting a lot of good alcohol. By alcohol, I don't mean you're gonna drink it. So yeah, just put a little bit more alcohol on it to wash away those bubbles, and we're good to go. Look, now this becomes extremely easy to shove off, just like that. See? Okay, let's check it. All the supports and the skateboard itself looks very good. So now, this is time we can take off all the supports. And be careful, because some of the skateboard, the size is really small and it's very thin, the body of the skateboard, so make sure you don't break it. But the Sunlu resin is really good, so it is not only hard but also very durable. So look, even though it's pretty soft, but we still can take it off with no harm. Okay, that's one. Oops. See, that's what I'm talking about. So do be careful when you're taking apart some really thin object, or you're gonna break the... Okay, one more. Okay, so we have 3 skateboard different in size. Well, actually we should have 4, right? But okay. So carefully wash it a little bit more. Looking good. So now next step is we're gonna dry it out. And I'm also using the frozen dry machine. And I think we should choose fan or cure. We can choose fan plus cure, both. And let's set it, well, by default it's 30 minutes, I think it's enough. Okay. Now while you're doing it, make sure you don't stare at the EV lights. It's gonna be bad for your eyes. Even though with the protection shells, it's better not to just stare right in front of it.